Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. I'm Brian Moritz. Today we get to walk you around a used 2020 Newmar Superstar 4051. So kind of a cool coach because this is the original Newmar Superstar. They started making them in 2020 and they've done some good upgrades over the years, but this is the Superstar in its original form. So before we get started, let's talk about just the exterior of this coach. We've got the Girard Nova awnings. So that is two integrated awnings. They are dual pitch. They come out and then change their angle and come out a little bit more just to provide you with better shade. They both have LED light strips in the bottom of them. And then they also have a remote that is currently inside, but there's a remote. You push a button and it will go in. There's also a panel inside the coach, and then the actual controllers to the awnings are back here. I'm gonna put them in so we can get a good shot of the side of this coach. So this coach was sold new here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. This is going to be the Largo exterior, so that's gonna be kind of the blue, the black, the silver, really, really pretty looking coach. Definitely turn some heads when you're driving down the road. Before we go inside, we'll start by walking around the outside, look at all the storage and some of the features of the exterior. One thing that this has that you didn't see on too many Superstars in 2020 is we actually have the flagpole bracket. So basically that's gonna be this little square here, and then it comes with a flag holder. Just tuck it down in there, put your American flag out or whatever flag you decide you wanna use. In the front of this coach, just a nice big storage compartment. Now, the previous owners of this coach did go ahead and install a solar kit. So we also have our ZAMP solar controller inside of that compartment. This particular Superstar did not come with power window awnings, but we still get window awnings. We get this nice little stick here, reach up, pull it down, and then it just hooks on this cleat on the side of the coach. Keep the sun from beating into the motorhome and heating it up on those hot summer days. Help you keep it just a little bit cooler inside. Ooh. Moving to our next compartment, we have the 8 6-volt AGM house batteries on a tray, so you can actually pull that entire battery bank out to you in the event you need to change them. Now here at Transwest, being that we are a Newmar dealer, we do go and test all of our batteries to make sure that they are completely ready to go for you. So if they're bad, we'll replace them. If they're good, we'll leave them alone. But that is something we do on every used coach that comes through here. More storage here, and then to the right we have our HWH hydraulic pump. So for those of you who are a little bit more mechanically inclined, this is kind of a cool feature because it is easy to access and it does actually pull out to you. That hydraulic pump is going to run your jacks and your entry stair. And then to the left side of that, just a little bit of storage. Now every storage compartment on this Newmar Superstar is carpet lined to keep things from moving around and rattling while you're in transit. And they also all have automatic lights that come on when you open the door. The only caveat to those automatic lights is there's a switch inside that has to be turned on. That's why they're not turning on right now. Down below, we've got the 43-inch Samsung HD Smart TV on the exterior. And then below that, we have the Bose soundbar for a little bit better sound quality. Now, the reason this isn't a very deep storage compartment is on the back side of that, we have our 150-gallon fresh water tank. You can see this little valve here. That's the one you're gonna open when it's time to drain that tank for the winter. One thing that you're gonna notice with this coach is we winterized it actually this morning, so we might see some antifreeze and stuff kind of in the certain places, but winterizing this coach is an incredibly easy process, and we'll talk about that a little bit as we go along here. Next compartment. So this is where Newmar started doing things different from the rest of the Super C manufacturers. So we actually have pass-through storage on the back side of the Super C. Now this particular coach is equipped with the slide-out tray to make that storage a little bit easier to access. But we can go over the top of the frame rails or under the frame rails with that pass-through storage. Now, also in this compartment, those two white boxes on the wall, those are the awning controllers for the exterior. So that's how I closed those two Girard awnings when we started this video. We also have two open 110-volt outlets, so if you need power on the exterior, we've got it available for you. And then over here, we've got the Intervac central vacuum system Now with this coach, there will be a toolkit, and that's gonna have a hose and a couple different attachments, but you can actually vacuum this coach out using the hose to that central vac. The other thing you can do is plug the hose in there, vacuum out your bays, vacuum out your tow vehicle, whatever you need. You can use it on the exterior as well. Last compartment on the driver's side here, we've got another pass-through storage. And then when we come around to the rear, another thing that Newmar was the first to do on the Super Cs, we've got this really deep storage here. Now this is kind of a cool storage for things like folding tables, your fishing poles, a collapsible ladder. But that's basically sitting right on top of the frame rails of this Freightliner chassis. And then you get the shelving up here, which is a good emergency supply kit, extra belt, couple extra quarts of oil, maybe a fuel filter, air dryer, whatever you might need. A good place to keep it, out of sight, out of mind. And then that compartment closes and it integrates just beautifully with the rest of the rear cap. So rear cap, we have a full fiberglass rear cap. All of our taillights, marker lights, reverse lights, everything is going to be LED. A little bit brighter, and they last longer. Up top, we have a full color HD backup camera with a microphone built into it. Now what's cool about having a microphone built into your backup camera is if I'm back here guiding someone, I don't have to be on a walkie-talkie or hoping they can see me in their mirrors. No, I can just sit here and talk and they can hear what I'm saying inside the cab. Down below, we have the 3-inch receiver with a 20,000 pound towing capacity, 2,000 pound vertical weight capacity. So the tongue weight of that trailer can be 2,000 pounds, the total gross weight of that trailer can be up to 20,000 pounds. We have the Voyager camera connection there, so if we're towing a trailer that has cameras on it, we can actually display those cameras on the screen inside the coach. And then we have the 7-pin connector and 4-pin connector for your trailer brakes and trailer lights if you were going to be towing trailers. Coming over to the driver's side, the other side of our pass-through storages, now over on the left side of that front compartment, we have the dump for our gray and black tank. Now notice you don't see any valves on there. You don't have your normal pull handle valves, and we'll talk about why in just a second. And then back here, we have the emergency egress door. Now we'll see this when we get inside the coach as well, but it kind of looks like an extra slide out on the coach, but it's just the emergency egress door. Which brings us to the water bay. Now standard on the Newmar Superstar, we got the water hose reel. So over to the left compartment, that is a manual extend, power retract water hose, hot and cold exterior shower, whole house water filter, and then over on the right side here, we have the gray and black tank dump valves. So instead of having our traditional pull handles, the Newmar Superstar actually comes standard with electric dump valves. So when it's time to dump your tanks, walk over here, hit open, wait till it stops draining, and then hit close, and you're done. They do that just because of the way they had to set up their gray and black tanks, and it's pretty far away from where the actual exit is. Now when it comes to winterizing this coach, we get this nice line right here. Now it is full of blue antifreeze right now, which is the color we chose to use this year. So basically what we're going to do is set our valves to a certain setup, which is all laid out on this panel. And then you turn on your water pump and you take that hose and put it down in a bucket of antifreeze, and it'll suck antifreeze through all the fixtures in the coach. You just walk around, open all, wait until there's a clear, or until you get antifreeze coming out of the faucet, and you know you're good to go on winterizing. Next compartment, Oasis Chinook. This is going to be our heat as well as on-demand hot water. Now this is a hydronic heating system, so it's going to use diesel fuel or electricity to provide your heat. This actually has two 900-watt elements in there, so you have pretty good capability down to the colder temperatures. Now in this compartment, we have the 50 amp power cord on a reel. Now that is a 50-foot cord. Again, it's going to be a manual extend, and then switch over here, power retract. And then behind that, we have that Magnum 2800 watt inverter. Now that 2800 watt inverter is what's gonna power our outlets, our microwave, our refrigerator when we're running off of our batteries. And then as a backup, we have the Onan Quiet Diesel 8,000 watt generator. Now with this being a used coach, this generator has 56.4 hours on it, so it wasn't used very much. Here at Transwest, all generators get serviced before any coach leaves here. So that will have a fresh oil change and anything else it needs prior to leaving this facility. And then last compartment, just another big storage. So the Newmar Superstar is built on the Freightliner M2106 chassis, which is going to be powered by the Cummins ISL. It is an 8.9 liter diesel engine, which produces 350 horsepower, 1,150 foot-pounds of torque. Pop that open, take a look. So when it comes to Super Cs, a lot of things, or something that people like a lot, is the accessibility to all your service items. So right here in the front, we've got our fuel water separator, engine oil dipstick, engine oil fills up on top, power steering fluid, and then back behind the tire there, we have our jump start studs. So you just have a positive and negative stud rather than trying to find the actual batteries. Coming around to the other side, so in terms of going for your pre-trip, it's very easy just to just look quickly and see all of your stuff. So we got coolant level here, washer fluid down below. I showed you the fuel water separator earlier and the engine oil dipstick. And then air dryer up front here, nice and easy to access for those of you who are going to be doing your own maintenance. And the Freightliner M2106 has a gas prop assisted hood, so it closes nice and soft. I don't have to hold on to it and risk hurting myself. Now let's come back over here and we'll talk about this sticker. So the stock number to this coach is 5U221442. Again, it is a used 2020 Newmar Superstar 4051. And now I think it's time to go inside. Oh, you know, one thing I did forget to mention, behind these little hidden doors in our step wells, we're gonna have our two 50-gallon diesel fuel tanks. So you've got one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. 100 gallons of diesel fuel total. There is a transfer line in between them, but I do recommend filling at truck stations where you have a satellite pump and you can fill from both sides at the same time. Newmar Superstar also comes standard with power locking baggage doors that will be controlled either by the remote, by the fob, by that keypad by the door, or there's a button inside that you can push. When you come to pick your coach up, we're gonna go ahead and set this code for you. We're gonna set a 5-digit code that is going to lock and unlock all of your baggage doors as well as your entry door. And then also standard on the Newmar Superstar, you get the HWH hydraulic triple step. So that's gonna come out nice and low to the ground, makes jumping up into this coach very easily. Now, if I had it actually leveled out, that step would probably be about another inch lower. So kind of a cool, nice feature there to get into this coach. Whew, it's warm in here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut the door. So as we walked in here, I have all of our slides closed up so that you can see what your space is going to look like while you are in transit. 4051 floor plan is kind of cool because your half bath is sitting at an angle and you still get the center pivot door. So it's very easy to walk in here unobstructed. And then refrigerator, one door at a time, but easy enough to open, as well as the freezer down below. And then access to the bed. If you want to just pull over and take a quick nap, it's completely accessible. You get basically the full length. It probably cuts off an inch or two down here as it goes underneath this off door side slide out. All right, so we'll get this opened up now. Now, while we do this, let's talk about some of the stuff that Newmar has added to this coach. So first things first, we have a step cover right next to the entry door. That step cover comes up, goes flush with the floor, and prevents things from falling down in there. So let's say you're traveling with a kid, grandkids, dogs, whatever. You don't want to hit a bump and throw them off balance while they're moving around and toss them down into the door well. So we get the automatic step cover, switch is controlled right here. Now over on this side, we get the battery disconnect switch. That's going to be for when you're putting the coach in storage. You can turn that off. It cuts out your house batteries, keeps them from dying. Control panel for your Girard integrated awnings. So we have channel 0, 1, 2. So channel 0 controls both awnings at the same time. Channel 1 controls the front awning, and channel 2 controls the rear. Exterior lights. Up top here we have the control panel for that Magnum 2800 watt inverter. So basically just we're going to turn it on, turn it off, and that's also where we're going to set up our auto gen start setup system. Down below that, touchscreen, this is going to have our tank monitor panel. That's going to show us the level of that fresh gray and black tank, as well as our battery levels. I mentioned on the outside, but fresh water is 150 gallons, gray water is going to be 60 gallons, and black is 40. Engine block heater, entry lock, that's going to be for your entry door to lock the door. Baggage door locks to lock and unlock the baggage doors. Step cover, HWH master reset switch. So HWH master reset switch is kind of a cool one, because if you ever had an issue with that hydraulic step or your jacks or something, you hold that switch for 5 seconds, it completely reboots the system, and hopefully will get you out of that jam. Controls for your HWH hydraulic leveling. Power control monitor, really that's just going to tell us where we're drawing our power from and what we have power to. Slide out control for your front slide out, and then the controls for that Oasis Chinook system, that's where we're going to turn it on. So right now you see that green light, I have the diesel burner on. Now it's about 32 degrees outside, and I've been running it for a little over an hour, and we're at 78 inside of this coach. So very good heating system with that Oasis Chinook. Now with heat, or continuing with HVAC, on the roof of this coach we have two 15,000 BTU air conditionings. Those are both going to have heat pumps in it, so we can use that as an additional heat source too if we needed to, or if it's 60 degrees outside and we just want to keep it a little toastier, we can absolutely turn on those heat pumps and run them by themselves without turning on the hydronic heater. All right, so that is fully opened up on this 2020 Newmar Superstar 4051. We're gonna start walking through in the back in the full bathroom. So the 4051 is kind of a cool floor plan, 40 feet, 11 inches tip to tip. It is a bath and a half. Now over on the door side of this bathroom, really big hanging storage with two drawers that pop out down below. Two more drawers on the exterior of that. Now every drawer in this coach is going to be a soft closing, so you don't have to worry about slamming them, damaging them. And then up top here, huge medicine cabinet with two 110 volt outlets. Solid surface countertop down below with the undermount sink. And then a massive cabinet for your toiletry storage. Next to that, this coach was optioned with the Splendid stacked washer and dryer. And then we have the emergency egress door that I mentioned on the outside of the coach. So we can pop that open. Now, like I said, this is an emergency egress door. So this is probably only going to be used if the coach or the front door isn't accessible. But there is a ladder that pops out of this door to help you get down there so you don't have to just take the leap of faith. Right in front of that, we have the Dometic electric flush macerating toilet. And then opposite of that, we've got the radius, 35-inch radius shower. So we get the two shower heads. Now with that Oasis Chinook system, we do get the on-demand hot water. This also has the shower miser system. So basically what that's going to do is recirculate any cold water that is in the lines back into the freshwater tank and bring hot water here, so that as soon as you fire it up, you have hot water available. And then the stool in there as well. Now for those of you who don't need it, this does fold up nice and flush to that wall to keep it out of your way. Coming forward, in the bedroom we have a 72 by 80 radius corner king bed. We have storage up above it, all the way across the top, 2 110-volt outlets back in that compartment for all your power needs. And then I'm just going to open up this side. Now, with those 2 power outlets inside of that cabinet, there is little pass-through ports on both sides of the bed to run cords down through. And then there's also a control panel up underneath there, so where you can do things like start and stop your generator, turn on and off all of your lights. That way, if you're laying in bed, you can do that stuff without having to get up and move around. On both sides of the bed base, we do get 2 nightstands, or a nightstand on each side, and then 1 110-volt outlet and 2 12-volt USBs. Opposite of the bed, we have another Samsung 32-inch HD smart TV. Now, I keep saying smart TV because you can connect these to internet and you can actually use all of your streaming services. So if you're a Hulu user, Netflix, Peacock, I'm sure there's a million new ones out there that I don't even know about. You can download those apps on the TV and use your streaming services in lieu of using a satellite like we're used to in motorhomes. 2 hanging storages, so you get kind of a his and her setup for hanging storage in the bedroom. And then down below, 5 drawers for additional wardrobe storage. And then last but not least, we've got the cabinet here, which is going to be a V. So if we're going to use the satellite system this coach currently has, this is where we're going to put our receiver. You get the Sony Blu-ray player in there, something they stopped doing for 2023 models, oddly enough. But this coach does have a Winegard Traveler set up for DirecTV currently installed on it. So if you want to use DirecTV, we already have the satellite on the roof of this coach. Moving forward into the kitchen area, let's start with a Whirlpool 19.7 cubic foot residential refrigerator. Down below, we've got the freezer drawer with ice maker and then water in the door. Now this water in the door is going to pull directly off of that fresh water tank. Remember, we have the whole house water filter. So all the water that goes into that tank is going to go through that whole house water filter, and then we get the Whirlpool water filter as well. So you get double filtered water. Opposite of the refrigerator, pantry. Now all of these drawers in here are adjustable up and down as needed. They're incredibly deep. And you get a total of 6 of them for all your pantry storage needs. And then coming back over here, up top, Whirlpool 1.7 cubic foot convection microwave. Now I left all this in there just so you can see the previous owner did leave all your microwave accessories intact and in the coach. Cabinetry up above. Lots of good storage in this coach. Notice also that Newmar does carpet lining on the bottom of all their cabinets to prevent rattles while you're in transit. Down below, we have the 2-bowl stainless steel undermount sink. And then the 2-burner true induction cooktop. Now I say this in all my videos, but I just still love it. Newmar does a great job by giving us cutting boards on the bottom of our stovetop covers. So it's one less thing that we have to worry about, one less thing we have to take with us while we're going on our trips. Down below, cutlery drawer. Now this is the other remote to control those awnings. So again, I can roll through channel 0, 1, 2, in, out, stop, lights on, lights off, that kind of thing with that remote as well, from anywhere inside or outside the coach. And then we've got the dishwasher on a drawer. Now for those of you who would rather have the storage, this actually does make great storage while you're in transit. It'll hold pots and pans very well. More drawers. And then a couple nice big cabinets down below. So going back over into living room, just go ahead and pop these down. So this coach was optioned with the 2 ottomans. Now, if you don't want them, you can just take them out, leave them in the garage. But it is kind of nice to be able to sit, pop your feet up on the couch, or while you're sitting on the couch. Now, this is the 84-inch tri-fold sofa, so there is actually a hide-a-bed in here. And it's a great viewing angle for that Samsung 43-inch HD Smart TV. And in the living room, we also get the additional Bose soundbar for better sound quality. And then opposite of that, nice big dinette. Now this particular dinette does fold down and make a bed, so if you're taking the kids, grandkids, or you like your dogs a lot, you can drop this down and make a bed. That cushion we saw on the main bed actually is what's going to fill in the center of this to make your bed. More storage going across the top, and another AV compartment. So we can set up your DirecTV to have 2 receivers, so that someone could be watching TV here and someone could be watching in the bedroom, and they could be watching different programs. And then above the couch, absolutely massive cabinets. Now this one's got the Winegard Traveler box in it, so that's how we're going to turn on that satellite on the roof. But huge, very deep. You could add some shelving in there if you wanted to make it just a little bit more functional. And then we're just gonna roll with some more storage up above the cab area here. And then we're gonna talk about what was cool about the 2020 Superstar when it came out. Just tons of storage everywhere, guys. I mean, Newmar did an awesome job with this smaller Super C. So now, when Newmar came out with the Newmar Superstar, it was kind of the first of its kind because they actually left our Aire ride cab intact. So not only do we have Aire ride seats like every Super C does, we actually have a full floating cab as well. So basically behind this black outline, there's a big rubber gusset in there, and that allows the cab of the coach to move freely from the body. Gives you a lot more comfortable ride. You know, really helps cut down on driver and passenger fatigue. And then we have the flush floor going all the way into the cab, with our step down being at the very end. Most Super Cs actually have a step up into the cab versus Newmar left it flush, and still manages to give us a very good amount of headroom up above. Dropping down into the cab, we'll go ahead and release all the air from this seat. So first things first, I did mention this is a used coach. It's got 19,162.2 miles on it as of right now. So every used coach that comes through Transwest does go through an oil change, a chassis PDI, as well as a house PDI. So we go through the house stuff, make sure that it is completely functional and ready to go camping. We can go through all the chassis stuff, make sure it's not going to break down on you on your first trip. We are a Freightliner dealership at heart, so we have all of the tools, the mechanics, the resources necessary to do any kind of warranty work on a Freightliner chassis, any kind of recall, all that stuff. We do it on a daily basis. So starting over here to the left, we've got our speed control settings. So this is your master switch on and off. If you hit it down, you get set or coast. If you hit it up, you get resume or accelerate. Headlights on and off, and then marker lights on and off. And then an incremental switch to increase or decrease the intensity of the dash. If you're driving at night and you don't like that bright dash looking at you, you can kind of turn it down, make it a little more mellow. To the right of the steering wheel, we get the marker light interruption. So if you know a semi is passing you and you want to know that want them to know that they're clear, just hit that. It'll flash your lights at them, let them know that they're clear to come back over. Drive axle differential lock. So basically what this is going to do is lock both sides of our axle together to get all four tires in the back spinning the same speed. Touchpad for our Allison 3200 TRV transmission. That's going to be a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now we do have the mode switch here. That's going to take us from economy mode to performance mode, which gives us 300 more RPMs before this coach shifts. These switches here are going to shift up and down if you like to do that manually. And then drive, neutral, reverse. Power windows in the cab. Mirror heat for those cold and foggy days. Power locks for your entry doors. Parking brake, talk about this one in a second. Light test switch, this is a cool one. So if you're getting ready for a trip, you want to just make sure all your lights are working, all you do is hit that light test switch. It's going to sequence all of your lights on this coach. So you can just walk around the outside, your blinkers will come on, your tail lights, your marker lights, reverse lights, and if you have a trailer hooked up, it'll run those as well. Engine brake, now on the Newmar Superstar, you get the 2-stage engine brake, so up for high, down for low, center for off. Camera switch, that's going to be choosing between the camera on the truck or the camera on the trailer if you're using that function. Shade up and down, we'll talk about that in a second. Suspension drop, so push that button. It's actually going to drop the airbags in the rear of the coach to help us level out a little bit easier. Parked regen switch, something most people don't have to use. House battery and chassis battery disconnect, or battery boost. So if your chassis batteries or your house batteries ever die, you can hold that. It'll pull power off of the other bank of batteries to get you started. Docking lights on and off. Those are going to be rearward facing lights to help us back into spots. And then generator start and stop. So another thing that Newmar did that was really cool when they started the Newmar Superstar is they did this nice big bonded window up top. Now this shade up and down switch does give us the ability to close that off to keep the sun from beating into the coach, helping stay a little bit cooler. But if it's a nice starry night, you can have it open, look out the top of the coach at the big beautiful sky. Now both our driver and passenger seat do swivel around and become part of the living area, and they're both Aire rides. So we can move them up and down with Aire, slowly but surely. And we also get 3 different lumbar adjustments on those Aire ride seats. And then last but not least, they are both heated seats. And I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this used 2020 Newmar Superstar 4051. If you guys have any questions about this coach, please feel free to give me a call. Again, I'm Brian Moritz with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. My phone number is 303-482-6375. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.